Like to hear Mr. Abrar Hussain. Just a very brief introduction. He joined in 1996 the SR Group. पहले इसका नाम SR Group था, and he joined at the time when SR was making the first pellet plant. Now he is head of the pellet plant operation. It is one of the largest pellet plants, 8 million ton. He is also the pellet plant process control head. He has been heading technical papers in Tata Steel, CII, IMMT, and Corem in Canada. So over to you, Mr. Abrar Hussain of ArcelorMittal Nippon Steel. Yes, sir.
Thank you for the nice introduction, Bhatnagarji, and good afternoon to all the dignitaries who have joined online and to the Pellet fraternity. Are you able to see my presentation?
No, we'll request Steelman to share his presentation. Please share mode.
Could you just put me on share mode, please?
Rishabh, can you put Mr. Abrar Hussain on share mode?
He can share the screen, sir, if he wants to.
हाँ, screen share कर सकते हैं.
Right, he can.
आप करिए. Yes, yes, हो गया. तो आप बड़ा कर दो यार.
Yeah. I'll be talking on the topic mostly kind of a summarizing kind of a thing, role of pellet industry in achieving the target of 300 million metric ton per annum by 2030. So we'll look at the global steel. I mean, this is how we go about the thing. We look at the global steel environment and then touch upon our government's vision and efforts. And we then narrow down to the global pelletizing scene and pelletization's role in fulfillment of the national goal. Then in further detail, we will talk about the issues impacting pellet operations in particular and various efforts by the industry to overcome these. And finally, kind of a roadmap to achieve 300 million ton per annum by 2030. So this is a kind of a steel production over the decades. If you look at only, if you just focus on 2010 to 2020, there has been an increase of around 30% in the steel production over the by all the countries. Then talking about the per capita consumption of steel from 2010 to 2020, we have increased again in same lines as the steel production capacity around 32%. Now the talking point is to 2030, we are looking at a figure of 160 to 180. That's around 200% increase from where we are as of today. So this is these are the countries and they're tabulated as per their production capacities. China sitting on top with 1,064 million metric tons, and India is second with 100 million ton capacity. Well, the gap between these two countries is more seen as an opportunity for growth, and our national steel policy is framed around this to actually boost the industry. So this is what the Atmanirbhar thing is all about. It's speaking about boosting the steel sector, and then we are talking about the principles of being globally competitive, then increasing the per capita consumption to 160, then domestically meeting the total demand of steel, then becoming a net exporter by 2025, and becoming a world leader on energy and raw material efficient steel making process. Our mandate would be to become preferentially to become a domestically self-sufficient steel maker. So this is what the concept and our today's topic is centered around. When we come to pelletizing itself, the kind of projections we have for up to 2027, China will continue to dominate the market of East Asia, and India will emerge as a lucrative market in the years to come. The key drivers would be the depletion of high-grade iron ore itself becoming a positive for the pellet growth, and then the eco-friendly nature of the product itself, and the increased domestication of domestic production of all kinds of various steels. The restraints, the key restraints would be the kind of integration that is required between pellet and the steel industry is still missing. We need to use more and more pellet in steel making facilities, and the fluctuating raw material cost would be one of the deterrents. This is how the global projections are with respect to pellet industry. By 2028, you can see across the different geographies, a proportionate increase of pellet markets across the geographies up to 2028. This is our journey as far as agglomeration is concerned. We started with cold briquetting, then sintering, and pelletizing. Pelletizing over the years is going to stay, and over the years has formed the main stay for agglomerating process. And the advantages of pelletizing over other agglomerates we will make it the best choice. With respect to the highlights of iron ore pellet, it is going to be the low production energy consumption process, the uniform size, and this is much talked about its metallization properties of like good reducibility, ease of transportation. These are going to be the highlights of the pellets. And with respect to the importance of pellet in the present context, utilization of low-grade ores, for the utilization of low-grade ores to utilize beneficial concentrates, resource optimization and recycling, and to provide customized raw material solutions for steel making, pellet is going to play a very important role. This is our journey with respect to pelletization at AMNS. We are now using around 60 to 70% as pellet feed in the blast furnaces, and before we were using only 20 to 30%. And in a DRI, we are almost using 100% as pellet feed, and comparative table is made with respect to high and low pellet feeds and how it impacts the yield and the metallization. And the bottom table shows how pellet actually competes. A 63.5 pellet Fe competes with a 66% FeClO, and how close it comes to the performance with respect to a higher grade ClO. This slide is particularly I have put because if you see out of the total production that was happened in 2021, 82% was domestically consumed and 18% was exported. This can be seen from two standpoints. One is losing the opportunity to use the pellet in the steel making process, or should we say we are still not ready to consume the total pellet that is produced. From one point of view, that could be one point of view. Another point of view could be the it has brought in some amount of foreign exchange into the country. So now we move on to the issues and concerns in the pellet industry. The capacity utilization will remain to be the major constraint. If you are talking about 92.5 million tons of installed capacity, we have utilized only 77% of that, amounting to 69.45 million tons. So this is mainly due to the design versus operation conditions, which are existing with all the almost all the pellet making facilities. So in our case, our plant was designed with 67% concentrate, against which we are operating at 65.5, loss on ignition of 0.9, and we are operating at a 2.2 plus loss on ignition now. The pellet quality itself, what is designed for 280, the physical properties also have taken a hit because of this. You can see the concentrate quality, which has actually dipped over the years, the gangue matter going up, the silica and alumina and the alloy going up, and the pellet Fe as such dropping over the years. I have mentioned filter cake particularly here, filter cake moisture particularly here, because it is the first product, first intermediate product in our pellet making, which despite introduction of latest technology is still hovering around 10.5 against the design moisture of 9.5%. So in pellet plants, every process has an impact on the subsequent process, and the final quality depends on the overall efficiency of all the individual processes. So these are the main challenges process wise. Filtration ke liye we have the excess gang and particle size, then balling, uncontrolled growth because of the gang matter, and screening. Screening may we have variations in size and recycle. When it comes to induration, the higher alloy and the dimensional limitations of original furnace was a big challenge. And in transportation, we have degeneration during transport. So all these challenges have to be overcome to some degree by putting in efforts to sustain our capacities. So these are the impact on this is the impact on pellet plant operations. I talked about moisture, then inadequacy of filtration equipment with respect to deterioration in iron ore, difficulties in green balling, cracks generation, and improper firing during green balls. These are the different and ultimately not able to attain the production rates at which these plants are designed. So we have talked so much about the challenges and the impact. Now I'll touch upon the enablers for overcoming these challenges. So advanced technologies for filtration. So we have moved from the conventional constant cycle vacuum filters to pressure filters now. This is a big enabler. Then use of alternate binders like organic binders and improved binders to lower for you during the processing low grade ores and also to reduce moisture. Then automation of balling and greening also. Automation of balling and screening also will be a big enabler. And finally, furnace audits to actually modify the heat treatment and gas flow without major dimensional changes would enable to regain the capacities. So most of the greenfield projects now are coming up with pressure filters. For our plant, it's a different story. We were put up our plants in 1996, but constantly we have shifted from vacuum filters to pressure filters. Now almost 70% of our filter cake is generated from pressure filters. Then we have in the industry some of the plants where the flexible balling equipment and screening equipment is used, where the automatic angle adjustment of the disc is possible, automatic spray system, and the side wall of the disc itself can be adjusted. And the screening also has taken done at the next level, wherein continuously the green balls are captured on the camera, and the screening is altered as per the green ball generation and the spread on the screens. So layered screening is another advancement that has brought in confidence to the operator that some capacity can be retrieved. We actually feed the machine with oversized pellets on top and the smaller pellets, smaller green balls at the bottom. So another place where a lot of improvement is taking place is balling automation, where closer monitoring with technology is seen as a solution to control balling quality and also increase productivity. This plasticity is one field. Around the world, plasticity is one field where a lot of intense study is going on, and controlling this is seen as a game changer, especially in traveling grade furnaces where permeability is greatly impacted by deformation and the plasticity of the green balls. Furnace audits and to change the gas flows with respect to the new material that we are experiencing is one more enabler, and this also will help in regaining the capacities. Furnace simulation with the various models to actually see inside the furnace how the heat treatment is going on, and the heat front is traveling from top to bottom also helps to process material of lower grades. So this is the furnace modification what we are going to take up. If you see the preheating area, it is increased from 16.5 to 22 minutes, and without actually doing many major change in the furnace dimensions. So these are the progress at AMNS introduction of pressure filters at various stages. 2005 to 2022, we have introduced 4 pressure filters. Then we have high pressure burners to control the heat treatment properly. And then we have boiling automation and furnace modifications lined up in 2022-23. So the bottom line remains to be first to tackle the issue of capacity utilization to the extent possible, and support the existing installations to operate at more capacity, more than the full capacities. So support to beneficiation process, which supply raw material to pellet plants, support industries with the necessary lands and tailings, and also support plants which come pelletization plants which come up integrated setup of beneficiation pipeline and pelletizing. So this is the way forward. 300 million metric ton per annum is what we are talking about. To do this, we have talked at length about expanding our resource base for processing lower grade ores and to sustain on the long run. Then the sustaining growth rate to enhance demand. So if we have to experience the growth what the government is actually indicating to enhance our demand and grow as an industry together. Increased focus on R&D for low grade utilization, and support installed facilities to run at full capacities and expand. See, we need to firstly support the installed capacities, the installed facilities, and then to take the operational, the advantage of their operational expertise to expand and to produce more. Then create focused groups for national and international collaboration. What we are talking about is the kind of disparity which we are seeing in pellet usage within the sectors. So this needs to be closed. We can have exchange groups exchanging our knowledge within the sectors and increasing the pellet usage across the sectors. And then we can talk when we can also have focus groups visiting other countries wherein to replicate their success story. So this is the way forward. And as I've been insisting and again, the roadmap would be to capacity utilization of pellet plants and design advances to factor deterioration of ore quality. So plants designed now should factor in the deterioration in ore conditions. They should be future ready, and process analysis, R&D, and automation is going to be the key, and to increase the pellet usage in steel making. And there we are. We will emerge as a stronger and a confident Atmanirbhar Bharat. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Abrar Hussain. You have really excited all the members who are here, almost 150 members, and particularly your last 2 slides are extremely useful. We will take them exactly what you have said in the previous slide, and we will send it to the Steel Ministry as soon as possible, as soon as we compile. Thank you very much. And you said a very important thing, which was that we should share knowledge with each other. And you will appreciate, sir, that we, from Pellet Manufacturers Association, we have done our modest bit by sharing knowledge from the not only the top 15 experts from India like you, also 3 experts from America. So we hope that this exercise will continue, and hopefully the COVID is over, we will have a live session in which we can have direct interaction between people like Mr. Abrar Hussain and the other pellet manufacturers. With these words,